messages in my head. I don't know how to cope with this. I'm keeping secrets in my hair, or any space you can find. Glad to see that I could help make your life a bit easier. But have you ever thought of how I felt? You need to think about your behavior.
Well, it's Thursday. One more day. It's Friday. But I guess you already know that already. It's time for Butch On Sports. I'm simply Butch, and as always, thanks for tuning in. Yes, it is Boys and Girls Thursday. Get ready for the weekend. Yes, we will. In the meanwhile, let's give you some sports news that you can't get enough of. At the present right now, the Detroit Red Wings are playing at Tampa Bay. Lightning. Still having one of the best records in hockey. However, it's not fitting too well for the Detroit Red Wings, who are playing them tonight there. Yes, they are in the arena down there in Tampa Bay. And right now, just watch Steven Stamkos just blow a puck right by Jimmy Howard. Tampa Bay is leading by a score of 3-0 in the kind of lateral part of the second period. I give or take maybe a minute to go in the second period. We'll keep you abreast of that particular score while we're doing this podcast, boys and girls here. So, don't want to keep you from anything here. The Stamkos goal, it was a power play goal. Stamkos is in his regular spot. They get it to him. He had nothing but clear sailing, just do nothing but fire the puck, and without a whiff, it goes to the net. Anybody could blow that away. As much room he had to shoot that puck. I tell you, boy, oh boy, if you watch that game, you know what I mean here. Detroit got to, do a lot better on the road than they're doing at home. At home, they're doing pretty doggone good. And on the road, it's a different situation if they're going to get in the playoffs there. Detroit 23-9 has won 2 in a row. 5-4 shootout at Washington and a 2-1 win. Just as of Tuesday night against Anaheim Ducks there, which is a pretty good team indeed. But again, they're on the road again in Tampa. And they're losing right now at the end of the second period, a score of 3-0. Oh, well. Stan Van Gundy post-game after the Pistons game last night was a dilly. Dilly. The Pistons nearly blew a 30-point lead. Almost there. Stan Van Gundy did everybody a favor by maybe in the fourth period. Or the fourth quarter, I should say. I mean, there are quarters. 4 of them. Yep. 4 quarters as a whole. And that's where the Detroit was looking at right now. A whole bunch of trouble with the Atlanta Hawks there. 30 points. Stan Gundy in the fourth quarter puts in everybody on the bench. The first exception of Blake Griffin. And we watch slowly but surely watching Atlanta come back and deteriorate the score down to a no-not-1 and almost caught them and went ahead. Fortunately here, that didn't happen. They put in the starters back in the game. It went a little half to a quarter to go. And the starters didn't do any good either. They just, was interested there. Did not make Stan Van Gundy too happy. And I don't blame him. I would not be happy either. And you had a lackadaisical club who thought the game was over in the third quarter instead of going full blast all 4 quarters in the game. However, 104-98 was the victory call for the Detroit Pistons, who are now on the All-Star break here with 25 games left to go in the season. Majority of the games are on the road, boys and girls. Detroit has some work to do. I looked at the game yesterday and I kind of like shook my head because it was something to shake your head about. And when you just don't go in there and play half the game or 3/4 of the game or maybe a quarter of the game and do nothing else the rest of the game as far as playing defense is concerned, which is part of the game in general, it makes you very worrisome of the abilities of some talented human beings on the Detroit Pistons roster. And it seemed like they just did not give us a good cahoot. I'm just going to tell you, just like it was. They did not care. The bench stunk, and the starters came back in there stinking. Smith, 22 points in the game, was the leader of the Pistons. A lot of good stuff, like I said, early in the game and in the third quarter where they built up a 30-point lead. But after that, again, they put in the fourth quarter where they put in the bench, and the game deteriorated from that point on. Detroit was 28-14 at one point in time. Of course, after that, they had a 7-game losing streak. And then there was an 8-game losing streak. So now they're fighting like cats and dogs just to stay ahead of the doggone situation. So they ain't 28-14 anymore. They're below 500. So you add them 15 games on to that 14. It tells you the record of the Detroit Pistons. Simply as it might seem, they need to solve that problem quick, fast, in a hurry. And again, I can give all kind of personal solutions as I can, but that's not my job. My job is to report what went on in the game and be as honest as heck and get the answers on why. That one, the answer was Stan Van Gundy just didn't seem what to know. He was embarrassed. He said that. He said notice that the team did not do well that final quarter of the game. I guess the question is Stan Van Gundy, what are you going to do about it? And even he don't know right now. So right now, the Pistons will get a mandatory time off until maybe about Tuesday, when they'll have a couple of practices to go into in the work before they get back on the courts and play on, I think, Thursday of next week. So hopefully they stay in shape, get some rest, and reflect. Reflect. And ask themselves, do they want to go to the playoffs, or do they want to feed the Detroit fans the same garbage they've been feeding them for the last 2 years? I'm just going to say it. Have you watched the Olympics lately? I have. U.S. Women's were playing a good game of hockey, although Canada edged them 2-1. Of course, both of them will be in the quarterfinals to see who play who, what, when, why, and how. Hopefully, as people predict, it'll probably be USA and Canada again. And hopefully there are better results for the USA. But you can't say ain't no good hockey played in North America. That is for sure. Australian snowboarder Marcus Scherer broke his 5th cervical vertebrae in his neck when he crashed during the men's snowboard cross quarterfinals at the Olympics on Thursday morning. in bed watching TV, and late in the morning, and watch that wreck, and kind of goes through your spine. And it was an ugly crash. And this particular match was more than 4 or 5 snowboarders up there racing against each other. And one of his jumps, his head snapped back, and he hit the snow. His goggles flew off. He lied prone on the ground for a few moments. He got back up on his feet, but he definitely was in pain. Was rushed to the hospital, and that's where the diagnosis of a fracture of his vertebrae was discovered. But he's in stable condition, so that's some good news. And the biggest good news is there's no neurological impairment or no risk of any other further damage. The Australian Olympic Committee announced later on early this morning. So that's good news. Good news indeed here. You know, some of us have the privilege to go on radio and be very respectful and talk about subjects, and sometimes go out the board and talk about subject that matters to the general public. One of those subjects will happen in Florida today, which right now I'm not going to talk about because I'm too disgusted to talk about it. And I'd rather have a solid state of mind to talk about something that is very serious in this country. Over the last 5 years, we've had 200 shootings in schools in the United States alone. And some of the excuses that I hear has nothing to do in protecting our children. And I'm sorry to say, this partisan Democrat, Republican, they can take it and shove it up their rear end. Because now they need to be nonpartisan. And that goes for independents as well. Some people feel there need to be more guns in the place, and it shouldn't. But there's got to be a solution there. And all of it's not mental health either. Some of it is influence from some bad people. And I'm just going to leave it as such. When I get a clear state of mind, maybe we'll discuss it. Maybe there'll be something we'll discuss on the game on Monday. Maybe. And hopefully I'm in a solid state of mind when I discuss it there. Because we have to think about our children first. This partisan kind of reflection and, some figures that I pulled out and wasn't a rabbit out the hat. These are some figures that just doesn't make any sense to me from influence from people who got money and can rule people. And I'm done with this particular subject here. I feel very bad for the families of those 17 and 3 critically injured people and the children. One's a grown man who is from Michigan who got away to save a child. Leave it as such. As I was saying, we have sometimes the privilege of reporting on things that basically make some sense. But when one of the DJs on radio in the United States make a mockery of the job of something that it should be a pleasure and a privilege to serve as a disc jockey anyway. And this is his quote: "Grown-ass man, excuse me, I'm telling, called a 17-year-old Olympic gold medalist a little hot piece of ass. Things are likely won't end too well with me, personally. You know one, that's a minor. Number 2, you got no business talking about that kind of particular subject anyway on the radio." But Patrick Connor felt was this decent and put his job on the line to make that kind of statement. And he made a commitment to make that particular statement that I just gave you that quote about American snowboarder Charlie Kim on Tuesday when he was on Dial In with Dallas Brayton's show. a show of the Barstool Radio on Sirius XM channel. On Wednesday, San Francisco radio station KNBR, where Connors is known as a pecan, fired him. Pecan. Pecan is stupid. KNBR program director Jeremy Crow told media outlets to be advised that Patrick Connors is no longer with Cumulus Media, which owns the station, where they probably do the broadcasting at. The disrespectful, I'm going to leave that alone too. KNBR is the flagship station for the San Francisco 49ers and the San Francisco Giants. You better believe they got rid of him quick, fast, and in a hurry. Okay, well, talk about the Tigers a little bit as they are in camp right now, holding their own as the pitchers, catchers are in camp, getting it ready to go, winding up for the veterans to come into camp on Monday, and they have at it on Tuesday of next week. We got some clearance on two players that, are in camp right now getting it together. And that is one is Michael Fulmer, who went 10-12 last year with a 3.83 earned run average last year. He had his shoulder taken care of. And I commend the young man because he did it before the season ended and had our off season to get repaired and get it taken care of. What upsets me so bad when players sit on their rear end all off season and they wait till they get in training camp to decide to have an operation or surgery. And same with Victor Martinez. He got himself together, got his heart, took off the latter part of last year of the season, get his heart back in order. Those particular individuals I just mentioned, there's 100% in coming into spring training, Alavila said to some media reporters in Florida. Martinez hit 255 with 10 home runs, 47 RBIs in 2017. He's 39 years old. He's in the last season of a 4-year contract deal. He said the last report of Victor that he's doing everything normal. There's no setback, and he's expected to be in spring training 100%. Fulmer's health is a crucial issue for the Detroit Tigers. He's 24 years old. He's a right-handed pitcher. Is in the type of young, cost control standout. And right now the Tigers are trying to rebuild, and he has to be right now the leader of the pack as far as all the other pitchers is concerned. And the majority of the pitching staff is going to be very young this year. So that leadership from Fulmer and also that veteran leadership from Victor Martinez will guide some younger players to play harder, smarter, and as the manager says, come out to play to have fun. I like that. A kid's game. You should have fun. Former Detroit Lions wide receiver Titus Young. Do you ever remember him? Titus Young was supposed to be the best thing since the napkin. Him, along with Calvin Johnson, at one point in time, they looked like a great pair. But Calvin Johnson has retired, and Titus Young got doggone near thrown out of town by sundown in Detroit because he just didn't fit in the locker room or got into all kind of antics. Lions cut him. He went on over to the Los Angeles Rams in 2013, and they got rid of him because of antics. Just not professional or fitting for the team. Titus Young is now 28 years old. He was sentenced 4 years in prison last April, stemming from a fight in 2016. Delays of a scream, a lot of crimes and things that he was doing that were just not hospitable. especially when the Lions released him. And then the Rams released him in 2013. I guess he was up for probation. They denied his probation from the Board of Parole here in California. So he's still in-house of prior offenses until probation is given to him. He sits in a mental health facility. We wish him well. Because he looked like he was a ball of talent there. It just didn't get off the ground. Finally, that's about the Lions here. Finally, report is teams have missed out on Kirk Cousins, Case Keenum, or A.J. Carroll could be interested in a fallback option there. McCarroll was available as an unrestricted free agent market, winning a grievance against the Cincinnati Bengals. McCarroll argued that the Bengals did not have the right to put him on a non-football injury list in 2014 with a shoulder injury. The NFL designed to keep the NFI, or National Football League, and that particular team, the Cincinnati Bengals, designated him, keeping him from gaining any accurate season toward free agency. See, the deal is that they put you on maybe an injury reserve, okay, and have it on the field. And then basically workman comps kick on in, and you live happily ever after, and it still counts for you as far as going to working toward free agency when you have certain many years of doing that. But when you're on a non-football injury list, that does not count for you, and you got to kind of maybe catch up. Well, Cincinnati thought they can do whatever they want to do because they claimed it to be a non-football injury instead of being a football injury. Well, there was a grievance report today, and then McCarron, injury reserve, he should have been gone to injury reserve. Instead of the season would end up counting against his services for all the details that went on there. Cincinnati Inquiry had a great breakdown of that particular situation on what I just explained to you. McCarron filed a grievance and won it on this afternoon, Thursday, according to multiple reports. That means McCarron will be a unrestricted free agent, not a restricted free agent as he was set to be. Restricted free agent means that whatever team picks him up, the Cincinnati Bengals had a rite of passage to match the offer or go ahead of the offer to retain the service of McCarron. They no longer have that option anymore. That means McCarron can go to any team he wants and can wave the Cincinnati Bengals bye-bye. Now that should get you excited, or at least McCarron and his family is, because he's probably sick and tired of the money that he lost for not getting, for the insurance who paid him less money versus the workman's comp who probably gave him 85% of his football salary and then had that time counted for him as being a unrestricted free agent. That all got straightened out today. McCarron won this case, and he lives happily ever after. And thus ends another edition of Butch On Sports on Thursday. 3-0 is the score as I'm looking at the hockey game in general. 3-1. Yes, 3-1 now is right now the score. As I just cut up the volume on it. I'm just so naughty here. I'm just overbearing, I'm telling you. 3-1 is the score. Detroit score. I do not have the person who scored the goal, but 3-1. Where exactly right now? I'm looking hard. 14 minutes to play in the period and less. I'm done. You can listen to Butch On Sports on Facebook. Butch On Sports. Butch On Sports on Facebook. You can check out Podomatic, SIMPOYBUTCHTOO.podomatic.com. Also, you can catch me on iTunes. And also the game, Scott Nason's famous new website, being hung up there. Some of my shows are listed on there. Some of the good ones. Enjoy them. All of them are good. I've just got to tell you. Okay? And don't forget to listen to us on the game, 6 o'clock on Monday. We will be on the air this Monday, the 19th, 6 p.m., our special podcast edition from 7 to 8 o'clock. Yes. And then also the schools will be all out of schools this week, next week I should say. And then the fabulous March Madness begins for the girls first the following week. Hey, we'll get more details into that as we go along. I'm out of here. Butch On Sports is a presentation of Oh My Darling Productions. Have a great day, everybody. Yeah.